we are going to be moving into Chapter 9, which is on graphing. Today we're going to be doing Lesson 9.1 on line plots. But before we start in on Lesson 9.1, I want to go over and review a little bit about fractions. So when you have an improper fraction, you have a numerator, which is the top number, that's bigger than the denominator, which is the bottom number. And all you have to do is you see how many times the bottom goes into the top. 5 will go into 6 one time, so that becomes your whole number. And then you subtract it. 6 minus 5 is 1. Your denominator stays the same. So for example, if I had 11 over 5, you still do the same thing. 5 will go into 11 2 times. And then 5 times 2 is 10. So you're going to subtract that for your numerator. 11 minus 10 is 1. Denominator stays the same. So that's how you change an improper fraction to a mixed number. When you add fractions with common denominators, let's say I'll keep with the 1/5. So you have 2 and 1/5 plus 1 plus 1 and 1/5. I'm going to go through, my denominator is 5. I'm going to add my numerators. 1 and 1 is 2. Now I'm going to add my whole numbers. 2, 3, 4. So those three fractions added together give me 4 and 2/5. Okay, now we are in Lesson 9.1 on line plots. So our essential question is, how can a line plot help you find an average with data given in fractions? So our question, or our example is, students have measured different amounts of water into beakers for an experiment. The amount of water in each beaker is listed below. 1/4, 1/4, 1/2, 3/4, 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, 1/2, 1/4, 3/4, 1/4, and 3/4. If the total amount of water stayed the same, what would be the average amount of water in a beaker? So this is what your line plot is going to look like. Some of them are already filled in. We have to fill in the other. So step 1, count the number of cups for each amount. You're going to draw an X for that number, and then you're going to put it here in this ratio. So here we have 1/4. We'll go ahead and do that one first. Okay, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm going to put 7 down here because I have 7 1/4 cups. Then I'm going to go up here to my line plot and I'm going to make 7 X's. I already have some wrote down. It's given in your book. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to go through and count how many 1/2 I have. 1, 2. I have 2 1/2s, so I'm going to go in and put 2 X's. Remember, they stack on top of each other. The last one I'm going to do is I'm going to count how many 3/4 we have. Let me go back through my numbers. 1, 2, 3. There's already 1 X here, so I'm going to add 2 more. So that's the first step. Step 2 is find the total amount of water in all the beakers that contain 1/4 cup of water. So what that means is you're going to only work with each section by itself, and then the end you're going to combine them. So there are how many beakers with 1/4 cup of water? So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm going to put, there are 7 beakers with 1/4 cup of water. So there are 7/4. And how you get that, I'm put 7/4 here, is you times 7 times 1/4, 7/1, which gives you 7/4. In the previous video, I showed you how to change an improper fraction into a mixed number. So 4 goes into 7 one time, which is 4. I'm going to subtract that. 7 minus 4 is 3. Denominator stays the same. So you either have 7/4 cup or you have 1 3/4. Always change it into a mixed number if possible. So that is for the 1/4 cups. This one here, step 3, we're going to find out how many 1/2, the total amount of water in 1/2. So if you work with decimals or fractions, you have 2 1/2 cups, and 1/2 and 1/2 equals a whole, or 1 cup. So there are 2 beakers with 1/2 cup, so there are 2 halves, 2/2, or 1 cup. Step 4, find the total amount of water in all the beakers that contain 3/4, our last fraction. And it has given you the problem. You have 3 x's, so you have 3 times 3/4. And when we get into fractions, you'll learn more about this. You put a 1 underneath the whole number. 3 times 3 is 9. Denominator stays the same, 9/4. Now we have to change it into a mixed number. 4 goes into 9 2 times, which is 8. I'm going to subtract it. So here you have 2 1/4. Step 5. To find how much water all of the beakers carried, we're going to add them. So you have 1 3/4, which is right here. So this is your 1/4 cup, your 1/2 cup, and your 3/4. You're going to add all of those together right here. So here you have, and I'm going to work it out in the bottom space. 4 is your denominator. 4 will be your numerator because you have 3 plus 1. Now I'm going to add my whole numbers. 2, 3, 4. Okay, when you have a number over a number that's the same, that equals 1. So this fraction right here is 1, so 4 plus 1 is 5. So 5 is how much all of your beakers have. Now we have to divide it to find your average. Or 5 cups, I should say, because there are cups up here. So what we're going to do is, to get your average, you find your total divided by how many you had. So there's 2 ways you can do this. You can go through and count your numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Or you can count your x's. It might just be easier to count your x's. So 5 divided by 12. And all you have to do is put that in fraction form, because that fraction bar means divide. So the average water in the beakers is 5/12 cup. I know it's a lot of information. So we're going to move on, and we're going to practice on page 535. Okay, so same concept. Liliana needs to buy beads for a necklace. The beads are sold by mass. She sketches a design to determine what beads are needed and then writes down their sizes. And then here you have all of your fractions, the sizes she needs, and they're in grams. You have your line plot here, which we're going to be filling in, and then we have questions just like we did on the last one. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to count how many x's I need to fill in. So the first one is 1/5 gram. Let me go through and see how many 1/5 I have. I have 1, 2, 3. That one's already completed for me. I have 3. 2/5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to go and make 5 X's. 3/5. 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to make 3 X's here. And then 4/5. 1, 2. So I'm going to make 2 X's. So I have all of my line plot completed. Now I'll just have to use my line plot to answer the questions. Question number 1. What is the combined mass of the beads with a mass of 1/5 gram? So here you have 1/5, which is 3. So there are 3 X's above the 1/5. So your answer is going to be 3 times 1/5, which gives you 3/5. And I'm going to write that answer here. Okay, there are 3/5 grams for 1/5. Question number 2. What is the combined mass of all the beads with a mass of 2/5? So I'm going to count my X's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times 2/5. 5 times 2 is 10. Denominator stays the same. Okay, 5 goes into 10 2 times, so you have 2 grams. 3. What is the combined mass of the beads of the necklace? This is where you have to add these in. Okay, you got to find your combined mass. You have to go in and find 3/5. So I'm just going to write above it. 3/5 times 3 is 9/5. I'm going to change that into a mixed number. 5 goes into 9 one time. 4 left over. And then I have 4/5 times 2 gives me 8/5. Okay, so for number 3, you have to add all of your answers together. So for 1/5, I have 3/5 plus 2, because that's for the 2/5. 1 4/5 plus 1 3/5. I'm going to leave my denominator the same, and I'm going to add my numerators. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now I'm going to add my whole number. 2, 3, 4. Okay, this 10/5, just like it did over here, it equals 2. So that 10/5 equals 2, so I'm going to add my 4 plus my 2. So the combined mass for all of the beads is 6 grams. I know it's a lot of work, but if you just take it step by step, you should be able to get it. The last question that we have to do, the average mass. So how you find the average is you take the mass, which is 6, and you put it in fraction form over how many X's you have total. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So 6/13. 6/13 is the average mass.